Hello. In this session, we'll be discussing the pancreas, its location, its structure, and its roles. So, as a start, the pancreas is located in the abdomen region, just behind the stomach and under the liver. The pancreas is connected to the duodenum, which is the first part of the small intestine. Here is the stomach, and here is the small intestine, and this is the liver. So the pancreas is connected to the duodenum through the pancreatic duct, which joins with the common bile duct coming from the liver and pours the secretions into the small intestine. Now, if we make a cross-section of the pancreas, we will notice that it is made up of two prominent or distinct regions: the acini, one acinus, many acini, and the islets of Langerhans. Okay, what about the acini? So the acini, they have small ducts that collect the secretions of these acini in this small duct, and the small ducts unite together to form a larger pancreatic duct. This pancreatic duct collects the pancreatic juice. The pancreatic juice, which contains digestive enzymes, the pancreatic lipase, the pancreatic amylase, as well as trypsin, which they are poured into the small intestine, and they have a digestive role to break down the large nutrients into simple ones. Now, this function of the pancreas gives it an exocrine property. When I say an exocrine gland, it means that a gland that produces or pours its secretions into a duct and not into the blood. So any gland which pours the secretions into a duct, it is called an exocrine gland. Also, the pancreas has an endocrine function. And when I say endocrine, it means that these cells or glands, they pour their secretions directly into the blood. And we see that the islets of Langerhans are richly vascularized. They have a high number of blood vessels. Now, the islets of Langerhans, they have two types of cells: the beta cells, which produce insulin hormone, and the alpha cells, which produce another hormone called glucagon. Now, these hormones, they are poured into the blood directly, and this gives the pancreas its endocrine function. The hormones then, they go and move in the blood until they find specific target cells that have specific receptors. These hormones, they bind to these receptors, changing the function of the target cells. So in short, the pancreas is a mixed gland. A mixed gland means that it has an exocrine role and an endocrine role. The exocrine role is through the secretion of the digestive juices into the pancreatic duct, and the endocrine role is by secreting hormones directly into the blood. This is accomplished by the acini as well as the islets of Langerhans. So the pancreas is a mixed gland, endocrine, exocrine. The islets of Langerhans, they play the endocrine part or the endocrine function through the alpha cells which produce glucagon and through the beta cells which produce insulin. The exocrine function is accomplished by acini, which produce the pancreatic juice and pour it into the duodenum, which is the first part of the small intestine. What are the roles of these two hormones, the insulin and glucagon? So, in case of hyperglycemia, hyperglycemia means that the glucose level in the blood is higher than 1.2 grams per liter. For example, after a meal, the pancreas increases the secretion of insulin by the beta cells and decreases the production of glucagon by the alpha cells. This will cause glucose to be stored in the liver and in the tissues in the form of glycogen. This will lead to a decrease of glucose in the blood, leading to the decrease of glycemia, regulating it back to its initial value at 1 gram per liter. It means that insulin is a hypoglycemic hormone because insulin decreased glycemia. So in case of hyperglycemia, insulin is produced to decrease glycemia, and thus insulin is a hypoglycemic hormone. On the contrary, in case of hypoglycemia, where glucose level in the blood is less than 0.80 grams per liter, for example, during fasting or during severe exercise, we need glucose in this case because glucose level in the blood is low. This means that insulin production should be decreased. On the contrary, glucagon production by the alpha cells should be increased. This will lead to the mobilization of glycogen into glucose, leading to an increase of glucose and thus leading to an increase in the glycemia, which means that glucagon is a hyperglycemic hormone because glucagon increases glycemia. Now, in the end, I can say that glucagon and insulin are antagonistic hormones because they function oppositely. Insulin is a hypoglycemic hormone because it decreases glycemia. However, glucagon is a hyperglycemic hormone because it increases glycemia. As a summing up, the pancreas is a mixed gland. It has two important functions, an exocrine function through the secretion of pancreatic juice and an endocrine function through the secretion of two important hormones for our body, insulin and glucagon. Thank you very much.